Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about activated sludge. In the last lecture, we discussed about secondary sewage treatment method, and the first method that we discussed was using a trickling filter to treat or to perform secondary sewage treatment. Today we are going to discuss use of activated sludge unit to perform secondary sewage treatment. The process of activated sludge was developed in 1912 at the Lawrence Experimental Station in England and is supposed to be the most versatile biological treatment process for secondary sewage treatment. This process is based on vigorous agitation of sewage. Activated sludge is formed by aerating biologically degradable waste for a period of time until a large mass of settleable solids are formed. Okay. So, as I said, the process is based on vigorous agitation of sewage. The sewage is subjected to vigorous agitation. That means aerobically, the biologically degradable waste is subjected to aeration by vigorous agitation. Okay. So, degradable waste is aerated by mixing oxygen in it by performing vigorous agitation. Until the agitation is performed until large mass of settleable solids are formed. Okay, that is activated sludge. Now these settleable solids, large masses of settleable solids called as activated sludge, are active masses of microorganisms and are designated as activated sludge. Okay. So what is activated sludge? It is a brownish flock-like substance consisting of organic matter, bacteria, and other form of biological life from sewage. If you look at the construction of activated sludge treatment unit, you have a aeration tank and then we have a sedimentary secondary clarifier. So the first thing is aeration tank and the second is secondary sedimentation tank or secondary clarifier. Now, after primary treatment, the primary effluent, which we called as settled sewage, comes into the aeration tank. In the aeration tank, it is subjected to vigorous agitation by mixing oxygen, or air is passed into at one end of the tank and the whole effluent from whole primary effluent is subjected to vigorous agitation and by mixing air into it and performing agitation. Okay. Now, in this aeration tank, settleable solids or active masses of microorganisms, that is activated sludge, is formed, which is then passed to the secondary sedimentation tank or secondary clarification. For secondary clarification, from the secondary clarifier or sedimentation tank, we remove the sludge. Some of the activated sludge is recycled and passed back into the aeration tank as seed because it contains active masses of microorganism which will help for formation of activated sludge in the aeration tank. Okay, so after primary treatment, the settled sewage or primary effluent is first passed into the aeration tank where it is subjected to vigorous aeration, vigorous agitation by so that air gets mixed up and settleable solids along with activated active masses of microbes are formed, and the settleable solids settle in the secondary sedimentation tank or secondary clarifier, from where the solid masses are sent for sludge digestion. That is okay, and some of the activated sludge is passed back into the aeration tank. And whatever liquid effluent remains behind in the secondary sedimentation tank is subjected to tertiary treatment like disinfection, and finally the effluent can be disposed of into any water body. So the activated sludge unit consists of aeration tank and sedimentation tank. A portion of the waste sludge from sedimentation tank is returned to aeration tank as seed so as to bring about quick flocculation of the fresh sewage. The excess sludge which settles down in the sedimentation tank is sent to sludge digestion unit. The clear effluent which comes out of the sedimentation tank is subjected to disinfection by chlorination and then it is disposed of into receiving water bodies. Now, this activated sludge system employs an aeration period of 4 to 8 hours. During this aeration period, it is also subjected to vigorous agitation. The final sludge that is formed, okay, it contains some inert solids, large number of actively metabolizing bacteria and protozoa. Hence, the process is referred to as activated sludge process. Activated sludge also contains some nematodes, fungi, rotifers also. These microorganisms, especially bacteria, carry out the oxidation of organic matter present in the waste and reduce the BOD to 75 to 95%. That means 75 to 95% of the BOD is already exerted when microorganisms present in the activated sludge bring about the oxidation or degradation of organic matter present in the waste. Now, the presence of filamentous microorganisms in activated sludge is supposed to be highly objectionable because sedimentation of activated sludge flocks occur slowly if filamentous microbes are present. Such inefficient sedimentation may create problem in the sewage treatment. Some of the filamentous species which create problem in settling of the activated sludge in this process are Sphaerothylus, then Streptothix, then Microthrix, and so on. What are the advantages of using activated sludge for secondary sewage treatment? This sewage treatment process requires a very small land area. And as I said, it exerts or it removes 75 to 95% of the biochemical oxygen demand from sewage, and hence the effluent, which has very low oxygen demand, can therefore be disposed of into water body or dumped into water body with little or no dilution. There is great reduction of suspended solids by this process. The process is very effective in removing organisms like coliform, or you can say considerable reduction or prominent reduction in the number of coliform organisms, Salmonella, Shigella, cholerae, Vibrio cholerae by 85 to 95%, and poliovirus type 1 is reduced by 90%. That means activated sludge treatment process is very efficient in removing pathogenic microorganisms. Okay, so that is all about activated sludge process for secondary sewage treatment.